events. Number one, Women in AFCEA. Also have a STEM innovation program with the young folks. And also we have the young AFCEANs with a panel. So a lot of great opportunities for you to get out and meet some folks and learn some things. So once again, I would like to thank you. And without any further ado, I'd like to pass it back to the MC. Thanks.
So now I'd like to welcome up to the stage Lieutenant General Robert Shea, United States Marine Corps retired, President and CEO, AFCEA International.
Well, welcome everybody. It's certainly great to be back here in Hawaii. Before I get into my brief comments I'm going to make, I just ask everybody to just sort of pause for a minute and reflect upon the passing of a great friend of ours over the past couple of weeks, Vice Admiral Jerry Tuttle. And I think those of you who knew Admiral Tuttle and those whose lives he touched can appreciate what a great humanitarian he was, what a great leader he was, and what great foresight he had. He was a true visionary, and he was a person that, quite honestly, that touched me in many, many ways. He was an advocate for me when in the Marine Corps we didn't have anybody in the C4 community that was at the flag or the general officer ranks. But he was a mentor, he was an advocate, and he was a tremendous thought leader. And in the last couple of weeks he has passed away, so I just ask you to pause for a minute to think about Admiral Tuttle and have him and his family in your prayers, please. Okay, well, I want to welcome everyone to Hawaii. This is the 33rd year, as was mentioned, that we've done this event out here. And there's a great partnership between AFCEA International and the chapter out here in Hawaii. We've got tremendous leadership in this chapter. And again, I want to thank them for the great work they do. I'm not going to single any one person out because it wouldn't be fair to the others, because there's such a tremendous amount of work that goes into an event like this. These are volunteers that you don't see. They're behind the scenes. But you see the effect of what they've done, the great work they've done putting on an event like this. And we've got 140 chapters similar to this across the world. So we truly are blessed as an organization. And for those who don't know, AFCEA's role is to bring together thought leadership and to bring together industry, government, and academia to work on the national security issues and the technology issues and the intelligence issues that we have that face ourselves and nations that think similar and have a similar thought and belief process to those of the United States. So as I said, I just came in from Italy. We had a great event out there working with our European partners. We've got chapters out here in the Pacific and expanding. And so if you're not a member of AFCEA, we would welcome you with open arms. I'm not going to get at all the things we do. We've got a website you can go to, but we're an association who truly is interested in working together to solve the national security issues that we all face in common countries with common needs and common beliefs such as ours and the United States have. And so it's really important that we do this. This is probably the most critical time in my life as you look at the myriad of challenges that face us. And what you recognize out the people that are here today, but many of the people in the United States don't recognize is if you look at the national security strategy, if you look at the national military strategy, every one of those emerging threats that are called out in that are out here in the Pacific, whether it's the Iranian influence from the spread of terrorism, North Korea, China, Russia, they're all in this backyard. And so this is really an increasingly important area of the world. And it's always been that way. It's just that other parts of the world have gotten more attention for various reasons because of the immediacy of the threat. But this is an area, the Pacific area, the Indo-Pacific area, is an area that I've spent over 40% of my career in support of. And so I want to thank everyone who's come here today and to help us bring together industry, government, and academia to help, as I said, solve these problems. I want to make sure I thank our exhibitors and our sponsors and the hotel. Without our exhibitors and sponsors, this event couldn't possibly happen. So again, thank you. I know many of you have traveled a long way. I hope you will find your travels fruitful. And at the end of this thing, there's a ripe contract that provides a great capability for our partners in with our partners in national security. So I don't want to drag this on anymore. We've got some other things that need to take place out here today, but I want to welcome you, and again, I want to thank the chapter, I want to thank the hotel, the exhibitors, and sponsors. We really are in a critical period of this time, a critical period of our evolution as a nation and as a free world. And I think if you look what's going on around the world, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that we're threatened from many fronts. So I think that makes organizations such as AFCEA and events like this all that more critical. So again, thank you all very much for taking the time to come to Hawaii. I know it's painful for you, especially if you're from the East Coast where they're suffering freezing temperatures right now, but thank you for your sacrifice.
Thank you, sir. Would Lieutenant Colonel Ed Riglowitz, United States Air Force retired, AFCEA Hawaii, please come to the stage?
Aloha, everyone. My name's Ed Riglowitz. I'm the Regional Vice President of the Pacific region, encompassing Hawaii, Alaska, and Guam, and I have the privilege of presenting a couple proclamations today and one one proclamation and one greeting from one of our congressional representation here. And if I may just take just a couple minutes, we got a very nice note from Representative Tulsi Gabbard, our Congresswoman to Hawaii, and let me just read a few lines here from her note to us. Aloha kakoa. Although I'm unable to join you, I'm grateful for the opportunity to share a congratulatory message to everyone gathered this morning for the Armed Forces Communication Electronics Association. I extend my greatest appreciation to AFCEA International and the Hawaii chapter for your commitment and interest in informing the community on information technology, communications, electronics capability, as well as facilitating forums and discuss the defense of our great nation. With the ever-changing and fast-paced world in which information is at our fingertips, your work and mission is critical now more than ever. Because of your vision and efforts, the United States is at the forefront and leading the way in innovation and creative approaches to protecting our nation. Thank you for sponsoring the 2018 TechNet Asia Pacific. And she says also, as a soldier in the Hawaii Army National Guard and veteran of two Middle Eastern deployments, I've experienced firsthand the depth and selfishness and commitment that the men and women of our armed forces, not only for their country, but for one another, which is always why I'm grateful for AFCEA's visionary leadership on both local and international level, for standing shoulder to shoulder and uniting with military, federal government, and industry partners to provide the necessary resources for information and education in keeping with the country. Mahalo to the AFCEA leadership, members, volunteers, and military government attendees, industry and academia, panelists, keynote speakers, moderators, exhibitors, and many, many partners who have devoted their time and expertise. Both wishes for a productive conference. Signed, Tulsi Gabbard. Thank you. And I'd also like to present a proclamation that was provided by the governor. Whereas the Armed Forces Communication Electronics Association is a nonprofit organization comprised of over 35,000 members from military, government, private sector, business, and academia, and whose ultimate mission is to protect the security of our nation by increasing knowledge relevant to its members in the areas of information technology, communications and electronics for the defense, homeland security, and intelligence community. And whereas AFCEA Hawaii has over 700 members from diverse backgrounds with a unified goal to support the mission of AFCEA in providing a forum for leaders and decision makers to exchange ideas and discuss current problems and solutions. Whereas AFCEA Hawaii activity include organizing the TechNet Asia Pacific Conference, also providing scholarships, through the AFCEA Hawaii Educational Foundation, supporting STEM programs in the Hawaii education system, coordinating social and networking events, and also participating in community service projects. And whereas the 33rd Annual TechNet Asia Pacific Conference and Exposition is co-sponsored by the AFCEA International, AFCEA Hawaii is the largest and longest running conference in the kind in Asia Pacific. And also whereas AFCEA TechNet brings together more than 200 companies, along with military, government, and business leaders from Asia, the Pacific Rim, and the United States mainland to explore and discuss the critical issues associated with technology, information security, and intelligence and military applications. And whereas this year's theme, Sharpening the Competitive Edge for Combined Cyber Operations, reflects how TechNet may continue to serve as one of the leading information technology events in the Pacific Rim. Therefore, I, David Ige, and Douglas Chin, Lieutenant Governor, do hereby welcome and the attendees of the 33rd Annual TechNet Asia Pacific and Exposition, 13 through 15 November at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, and recognize the role that AFCEA International and the AFCEA Hawaii plays in promoting global security. Signed by David Ige. Thank you, Governor. And at this time, we have a representative from the city and county. If Mr. Ed Hawkins could please join me on stage. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ed. Good morning and aloha, everyone. Aloha. I know you'd rather see the mayor here. I spoke to him prior to coming. He sends his regards and thanks to everybody for attending this, but you're stuck with me. I'm here to read the proclamation from the mayor. And the proclamation, I'll explain a little bit later why the mayor's proclamation is important. But I just wanted to welcome everybody, especially those from out of town that come here because it helps the economy, definitely. And that's one of the things that we would like to thank you for. And I think I should say something about the veterans here because we had a wonderful Veterans Day weekend, series of events. We had 100-year anniversary of the end of World War I at the natatorium on Sunday. Wonderful event, recognize the sacrifice of all those from Hawaii, 9,800 I think it was that served in World War I, plus all the veterans that came. And I know many, many veterans are here. So I'd like to thank all the veterans for your service, reflecting back on these past few days during the Veterans Weekend. For me, as a former military member and signals intelligence officer, I have a special feeling for AFCEA and really the career field that everybody here is involved in. So looking back, I was thinking coming here, I grew up at the dawn of the space age, dawn of, I think, modern communications, because I still remember the launch of Telstar 1 and 2, which were the first really communication satellites. And before that was something called Echo. I don't know if maybe some of the silverheads out there might know what that is, but it was basically just a balloon, Mylar balloon in space that was used to bounce radio signals. And that was a height of technology then. And to think now, after not too many years, we are at a point where we can hold computers and communications in our hands, and all the work that you all did to get the modern satellites in space, the GPS system, the internet, all those things came from professionals like you. It's a brave new world. And, I grew up in things called R separators. If you don't know what that is, then ask some of the silverheads out there what that is. And Cisco routers, you know, I thought that was an acronym. For many, many years, I thought that was an acronym when I heard it. Of course, all the modern things, dawn of rock and roll, you know, all those things that happen at the same time. But still, things don't change. You know, probably the communication system that's used the most even today is radio. More people listen to radio today than they did back in the 1960s, maybe. So things change, but some things don't change, and we use everything. So we need to keep in mind. I'm especially grateful for what you do for the scholarships to bring up the people. The proclamation by Governor Ige talked about that. So thanks to you for engaging with the youth. You know, one of the things that I do when I meet with students is I brought a prop. It's basically, I used to go hunting for arrowheads, and I picked this up in New Mexico, and it's basically just a stone, I thought it was a scraper or something, but after I played with it, it fits the fingers very well, and it's really a knife or something to carve meat with or take skin off. And, you know, 10,000 years ago, this was the height of technology. Without this, people wouldn't have survived. And now, as you know, this is it. And everything is in here, all the information in the world, access and everything. So I tell the kids, you know, I put it in their hands and say, this was 10,000 years, this is today. What will you be holding yourself? What's the next thing? And I think that's an inspiration that all of you in providing the scholarships to the wonderful people, the young people that come along that you do. So I want to thank you for that. Okay, so I probably went on too long, but I'm going to read the proclamation. I'm not going to read the whole thing because a lot of it was covered by Governor Ige as well. But just to explain that the mayor of a city, Mayor of Honolulu, has an opportunity to declare certain days in honor of people or organizations. And he's the only one that can do that. And it's special because the last few days, today included, belongs to you, only you. Nobody else has this date. So it is kind of special, and I hope you feel that way. And let me just read a few items from it. Whereas more than 200 companies, along with military, government, and business leaders from Asia, the Pacific Rim, and the continental United States will gather to explore and discuss the critical issues and military applications associated with technology, information assurance, and security and intelligence. Now, therefore, I, Kirk Caldwell, Mayor of the City and County of Honolulu, do hereby proclaim November 13th through the 15th, 2018 to be TechNet Asia Pacific Conference and Exposition Days in recognition and appreciation of AFCEA International and AFCEA Hawaii for their outstanding contribution toward military preparedness and the security of our nation, which you really uphold. Done this 13th day of November 2018 in Honolulu, Hawaii, Kirk Caldwell, Mayor. And I'd like to present this to Ed.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Stay up here, okay?
And then I got one more. And then I have one other presentation. It's the coin of the mayor with the signature on the back, city's logo on it. And I'd like to present this to Ed as well.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Stay up here, please. Okay, at this time, we'd like to do our formal opening of the conference, but what we do is a traditional unfolding or cutting of the Miley Lay. And the following individual I'd like to call up. First, I'd like to call up Donna Russell, who started this conference 33 years ago in a hangar at Hickam Air Force Base with about 10 tables. Come on up, Donna. We're going to help with the presentation. General Shea, could you please return to the podium? Lieutenant Colonel Elborn, please. And Ed, please join us at the lay. So traditionally, for those of you who don't know, that's a very prestigious thing to do with a maile lei. It's very traditional here in Hawaii, and it's normally we do that for very special occasions and for events like this. So if you can untie it at this time, and oh, I'm sorry. We're going to do the at this time the Hawaiian blessing. So may I call out the chanter at this time?
We're going to put our hands together for this is Second Lieutenant Naki behind me, my daughter. We'll put our hands together. It's one of those mornings. You know, sometimes our little conch shells can be sensitive. Anyway, aloha kako and a happy Veterans Weekend to all of you. I am Kahali Puna. I am the wife of a retired major, United States Army, a daughter of a lieutenant colonel, United States Army. Dad was infantry. My husband's artillery, my daughter as well, with our, the 487, babe. 487. So it is a grand honor to be here with all of you for the evening and to be able to say the blessing for the morning. So please, if we all may bow our heads in prayer. Eke akua manaloa, we humbly come before you, before thee, on this beautiful Hawaiian morning, to give thee thanks and praise for this very gift of life, to be able to just wake up with peace and gratitude for our founding fathers and the generations thereafter, who have sacrificed for all that is aloha, that we, the citizens, may continue to reap in the blessings and bounty of your liberty and justice for all. We humbly also thank you for granting us the strength and fortitude in this season toward fulfilling the purpose and promise that thou hast for us, each and every one of us, here at this, the 2018 AFCEA Convention, that we might better continue to serve and protect our great country. We ask a special blessing over all of those who have endured the many hours of planning and preparation, their sponsors and affiliates, as well as the participants who collaboratively are here today to extend the technological insights toward an advanced nation built upon thy statutes. O God, in thee we trust. Ano leila e no ka pule e hapaya e oe me ka mahalo, a i ka inoa, ka makua, a me ki keiki, a me ka uhane hemolele. Amen. Aloha.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please move forward, and you may help them out, Donna, with the... Okay, declare the 33rd Annual Conference and Exhibit open at this time, so please move over to the other side, and thank you. General Shea?
I'd be remiss if I didn't say, and Tina down here would smack me aside the head probably, but if you're not an AFCEA member, there's a membership booth downstairs, and we'd welcome you join us. As again, we think we've got a great association with a great cause. So there's a membership booth downstairs. If you're not a member, we would welcome you to sign up. Thank you.
Tell me to live